Will you raise taxes for the middle class in a Sanders administration?
People who have health care under Medicare for All will have no premiums, no deductibles, no co-payments, no out-of-pocket expenses. Yes, they will pay more in taxes, but less in health care for what they get.
And that should, in theory, be a very easy thing to explain. Yes, if you only look at your taxes, it will go up, but overall, you will be paying less. You will be saving money, but it is made more difficult when the media insists that, nope, we can't, that would be having a perspective, we can't get involved in that.
Well, it's like the idea that only taxes are money. Right. The only money that truly exists that people actually pay are their taxes.
Yeah.
Their premiums, their co-pays, their deductibles, all of that. That's magic fund money. That's just, you know. If you do the analysis, it's something like 90%. It's a large number of people who would pay significantly less. And as a function of national health expenditures overall, America would pay $2 trillion less. And that's a fact from a paper from George Mason University, a Koch-funded think tank at George Mason, who put that together. And the fact that this still sort of hasn't penetrated the sort of level of the media is really kind of frustrating. But you got to keep saying it.
It's because of the way that the opposition to these types of things is always presented constantly over and over and over again. So this is one of those times I hate to roll up the sleeves when I've tweeted and talked about this many times. When politicians roll up the sleeves to go to a disaster area, put on a t-shirt, it's okay. Or when they want to point and they do this instead. Hey, just point. So they have these well thought out things to make sure they don't look too offensive. And also that they're relatable. One of the things they do to relate is give the little anecdotes. I talked to Annie in Wisconsin and she told me, because she works a 9 to 5, I hate those stories. But it's one of those instances where you have to make it natural. So give an analogy. Say, hey, you're paying this much every month in your medical bills. You have this kind of condition, because tons of people do. Hypertension, high blood pressure, whatever medications you have to take. You broke your leg. Hey, your kid broke his arm at summer camp. All these things that you have to pay for. Give specific examples that are real life, even if you're making them up because somebody's experiencing it. You give those kinds of examples over and over and over again and talk about how much you're paying out versus how much you're paying in taxes. Would you rather pay it up front at a smaller amount and then get so much more peace of mind back when you get it? Those stories have to be told, not the ones where you're just saying, hey, I went to a diner and I ordered a Coca-Cola, because it's American.
Exactly. Following on the same sort of topic, Bernie Sanders asked about how he would implement universal health care.
We'll do it the way real change has always taken place, whether it was the labor movement, the civil rights movement, or the women's movement. We will have Medicare for all, when tens of millions of people are prepared to stand up and tell the insurance companies and the drug companies that their day is gone, that healthcare is a human right, not something to make huge profits off of.
And based on my experience on Twitter during the debate, there are two types of people in America. There are people who listen to that and think he is fired up and passionate about this topic and he talks about it with authenticity. And there are people who say, why is he yelling at me? And sort of miss the point of what he's trying to explain there and why it matters.
This was one of those moments that I was wishing that it was a little tougher. I mean, he said it with authority, but they asked him, how would you implement it? And this is because it gets out of the hands of the president sometimes. Yes, those plans are put in place, but we can't forget the role of Congress and the role of the Senate. So it was a little bit of an unfair question. I'm not saying just because it went to him, but sometimes you say, hey, if you're gonna become president, how are you gonna implement this policy that has to be passed by other branches of government? Well, that's how. It's not gonna be just done by me. This isn't just me. So the best answer you could give is we need everyone to have this fire in their belly to want to demand it. But in order for everyone to want to demand it, the reason you want it is so they can push their senators to do it. To not have Mitch McConnell in office, who's absolutely against it and who said it many times. They didn't call him Grim Reaper once. Keep going with the Grim Reaper.
Yeah,
that's the entire point of doing this. So it's like, not only do, because Donald Trump said it when he was running, not only do we need to get me in office, we have to get other like-minded progressives, not just random Democrats that are gonna agree to the side. You throwing Biden in there too, say people like Joe Biden in office to help me do this, because this is a representative government that everyone takes part in. It's not just the president that puts it in place.
Definitely about winning elections. Of course, today we had the Supreme Court put together a ruling on gerrymandering where they just walked off the field, say, hey, not my problem. And so we're going to see more rigging of having the candidates pick the voters rather than the other way around. There are unique challenges with the way that our silly system is set up. And one thing I'd like to see more of in the next debates is talking about how the executive authority can be used. Because yes, Congress passes the laws, the executive takes care to execute the laws, and there are a lot of laws that have been passed that give a lot of latitude for presidents to implement something close to their agenda.
Yeah.
And I would like to see more discussion of that in future debates, because ultimately that might be all you can do.
2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.